Hi! I'm excited about the handmade greeting card I'm going to demonstrate for you today. It is so simple to make and oh so elegant in silver and gold with the beautiful branches thinlits dies and the thoughtful branches stamp set. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Welcome to StampingSmiles.com. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 15 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand-stamped smiles. So you may have seen some of my Thoughtful Branches cards with the glimmer paper. Oh, very, very pretty. But that got me wondering, I wonder what the tree die would look like with silver or gold foil. We're about to find out. In case you've missed it, here's a better view of the limited edition Thoughtful Branches bundle. We have the Thoughtful Branches stamp set and the coordinating Beautiful Branches thinlits dies. Both of these are available to order only through August 31st, 2016 in my online store, www.shopwithshelley.com, if supplies last that long. So time is running out, so let's hurry. I'm going to grab my Big Shot. So I have my Big Shot die cutting machine with my Big Shot platform, and because I'm using thin metal dies, I have the thin die adapter. This is the start of our sandwich. So for the bottom, we're going to use the precision base plate. This is highly, highly recommended for intricate thinlits dies like the Beautiful Branches tree that we're going to use today for all of these very intricate dies. Okay, so we put the writing side goes down. There we go. So this replaces our cutting pad for the bottom. Okay, so next we need our paper. I want to show you something. Okay, so this is gold foil paper, gold foil sheets. Okay, so I was looking at this. I had this already cut. I thought, ooh, that will fit. I can die cut one this way and then look, turn it around and die cut that way. Thank goodness I remembered something before I did this on camera. Here's a problem if we did that. Yes, they both will fit, but the cutting pad I need to put on next, look, you know, the cutting pad, the dies cut into it. So I have all these scratches on here, which will end up on this side. So before I do this, I'm going to cut this paper in half. So instead, let's go ahead and use the silver foil sheet that I have with the die. So the sandwich is, right, we have the multi-purpose platform, the thin die adapter, our precision base plate, our paper, and then our die. And we're going to put our die with the raised edges down, because that's the cutting. Okay, then to finish our sandwich, we have another cutting pad. So we're going to just crank all of that through. So let's just run it through. And we're giving it 3,000 pounds of pressure, but that precision base plate is allowing for a beautiful cut. And let's just go ahead and reverse it. Now while we're there, it takes almost no more time. This really helps ensure a really good cut. And so let's turn that over. Look how that has cut through. So well, it's just fallen off. So I need to cut those other two after trimming my gold foil sheets so I don't end up with one side all etchy. So I got the two gold foil die cuts done, but we have the silver one, and you saw how easily it popped out. So I have here my Big Shot die brush and the foam mat it comes with. And if we run this over it, they're going to pop out really easily. But you know what? Let's turn it over and do the back side. We just really don't want to take any chances of putting any marks into the gold foil. So look how that is just making those all pop out. And so this is going to come out real easily. Look at that. And then I have here my paper piercing tool that we're just going to do these little ones. Yeah. There we go. Isn't that nice? This plate just really makes a huge difference in how all of that pops right out. Oh, one more little one. There we go. Pretty, pretty, pretty. We've got our two gold and one silver tree. The base of our card is going to be basic black, so we can't see that very well against my black mat. So let me put down a piece of scrap paper. And so you're thinking, okay, how are you going to get 3 of those on here? Because this size, the folded size, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to get 3 full ones. We're going to do partial ones. Okay, so let's get those glued on. I have here my multi-purpose liquid glue. And we're going to start with the gold. And I want to make sure I get the tips of these for sure. And I'm not squeezing very hard. I don't want glue coming out all over. That won't be attractive. And if it does happen, let it dry. And we have a marvelous tool called an Adhesive Remover. Fabulous. But of course it's easier just not to get it there to start with. So I'm getting those tips. Okay. You could also use the fine tip glue for this. And with this one, a lot of times when I've used this die, I've used the foam adhesive sheets behind it and raised them up. But for this card, I wanted everything flat and it just turned out so elegant. So I'm catching a couple more of these in here. Okay, so let's go ahead. And I'm not putting on this, I'm going to layer. That's going to be our bottom base, but again, I'm still using black. So we're going to go over the edge. Let's go about right there. That looks good, huh? And so see, I don't have adhesive squirting out because, like I said, I didn't get heavy-handed. Oh my gracious, isn't that gorgeous against the black? Okay, so let's do another gold one. Same thing. And if we catch those tips, because you know that's what's going to rub going in and out of the envelope. You know how it is, right? That if that picks up, the whole thing starts to pick up. We don't want that happening. And and it doesn't take very long to do this. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Alright, so let's catch some of, definitely let's get this branch, you know, the tip down here. Let's get some of that. Like I said, I'm just not squeezing very hard, and I've got pretty doggone good control with this. Okay. You know what, how about we just, while we're at it, let's do the silver one. Same idea. And then we'll put it together. And I can't wait to show you the finishing touch for this card. Oh my, 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 my. It just was one of those things that, like, oh, perfect. Okay. It's kind of like watching paint dry, huh? But instead glue. But, you know, it's good to see that, you know, I didn't time this, but I know it's not taking that terribly long. Feels like a long time when you're on camera, but that you could make these cards and it just wouldn't take you forever at all, even, you know, catching all those tips with the glue. Okay, try and keep my fingers out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And let's get some of these branches. Okay, so I want the silver one out front, so we're going to do the gold one next, the second gold one. And I'm going to have these almost touching, but raised up a little bit more, really close together. Great. And so I didn't need to use nearly as much glue as I did. And I just got a little bit of glue there, but you know what, and that dries, the adhesive remover. And so then we have this one. Okay. And I didn't want everything just perfectly centered, but I wanted most of this one on the card and some overlap. Here we go. My, isn't this beautiful? So that one you could do a whole lot less glue. That one, you know, the one on the left, just do most of it. It'd just be easier. This one, gracious, we could have started, you know, from the trunk over, just forgotten it. Okay, so, but that is adhered down really well. But of course we can't leave it like this. So what I like to do, I like to turn them over and use my paper snips, because this gives me an edge to cut against. If I do it this way, I can't see through. For me, you know, this may work great for you. For me, this just works better because I definitely have this edge of the card to follow along, and look how easy that is then to trim. Because I don't want to cut the black cardstock. That would mess up that layer. So nice and slick as a whistle. And the same thing with this one. Nice. Look at that. Isn't that sharp? And it's going to get even better. This is the adhesive remover. Now I can't even find it. I think maybe it's there. It must have dried clear. But if I needed to, I would just run this over it. Oh, there we go. I found it. And pick that up. It is awesome. I don't know about you, but when I've gone to put a layer on, for some reason I turn over and put the adhesive on the wrong side, and like, you've got to be kidding. This, you really, next time you place an order, get the adhesive remover or two. They're inexpensive on your order, and it's going to save you a lot of headaches. Okay, so the Thoughtful Branches stamp set comes with some really pretty greetings and sentiments, and the font is just gorgeous. And so I have here the thank you from here, and it's going to go right there. Pretty, huh? So I'm going to emboss it because ink isn't going to show up very well on the black. A dye ink won't. And of course I've got all the silver and gold going, so I want that in gold. But before I do any stamping, I have here my embossing buddy. Love this. We're going to rub this on the cardstock. And what this is going to do, it's going to let the embossing powder stick to what's wet, which will be our ink. We're going to be using VersaMark ink instead of the oil in our hands or anything else. A wonderful thing, especially when you're on something dark like this. If you had little specks all over, it'd be really obvious. Okay, so I have a VersaMark ink pad here, and this is a pigment ink, and it stays wet for a good long time. And actually they call it the watermark stamp pad because it makes whatever you stamp on there look like a watermark. It's a shade or two darker than your cardstock. Okay, so let's go right here. There. I don't know. I'm going to hold up in the light and see if you can see it. My guess would be on camera maybe not so well, but in person you absolutely can, so you know where to put your embossing powder. So I just grab a paper plate. I have here my gold Stampin' Emboss powder, a very pretty gold. And let's sprinkle this on. Our thank you. We'll tap off the rest. And look at that, it clings. This just makes me happy. A little bit came right here, but I'm just going to wipe that off for whatever reason. A little bit clung right there, but it really eliminates the extra. So now what we're going to do is we're going to melt this. So let's get this aside. We certainly don't want to be blowing that all over the place. And I have here my heat tool. This is so nice. The first setting, that's when you want to dry your cardstock. The second, that's for melting the embossing powder. So let's go ahead, hold this on here until we see it turn from this powdery, yeah, it doesn't even hardly look gold, it's well powdery gold, but wait till the magic starts. And when it does, it goes completely, there it goes, it's starting. Look at that shine. Isn't this remarkable? So as I see it melt, I just move along, get the whole thing embossed, and then stop. You don't want to keep going and burn your cardstock. Once it's melted, you're done. So just turn it in the light and make sure that everything looks nice and shiny. Because if you see an area that looks a little bit powdery, all you would do is bring this back and finish it off. Okay? And you have time for that. I've even gone back the next day when I picked it up and went, wait a minute, was still able to finish the embossing. So our beautiful gold and silver trees are going to go on our basic black card base, but not before we layer it. Look at this. We're going to layer it in silver, the silver foil sheet. So pretty. That's why I kept my gold to the outside, because I knew I was going to layer it with the silver. Okay, so I have here my fast fuse adhesive. We're going to put our finger where those ridges are, and we're going to pull for about an inch. Slide it along, and then slide to the right, and then once to the left. We want to slide to end it, because if we don't, you get this hot stringy cheese. And then by rotating from going from the left to the right, it keeps the adhesive in the center of that roller, and so it doesn't go to one side or the other. Okay, and I only cut this an 1/8 inch bigger than the other, and it just gives a really, I just love a fine border, a look like this sometimes. It's just very, very elegant. Okay, and so we just want to make sure that we're neat and get it centered on there to have an equal border around all four sides, because when you cut only an 1/8 inch, that gives you a 1/16 on each side, and it's really obvious if you're off. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and so now we're going to put that on here, and again, fast fuse. For this one, it was just so sleek and elegant, I chose to let everything just lay flat, didn't use any Stampin' dimensionals at all. Look at that silver against the black. Oh, elegant, right? So elegant. Now that I'm happy with the placement, I'll press, and that's a really good adhesive, isn't going anywhere. Now for the finishing touch. I really liked this, and I thought, oh, what could I do? And then I remembered my metallic enamel shapes. Aren't these pretty? They're in silver and gold. Here's what I did to keep all of my color collections together, because the packaging for this wasn't really something to store them in. I just punched a little hole and put in a little brad and keep them together. This one only has 2, but the other color collections, you know, you get a full sheet for each color. And so that little tip has worked out really well. I love using my paper piercing tool for getting these off of the acetate sheet. So I'm going to use, let's go ahead. Let's get one right here, get up and under. You can do it with your fingers, but I think, well, I might have to. Just not as easy to grab and place. There we go. And so I've got the gold here, so a silver one here. Oh, pretty. And let's grab a gold one for over here. That'll be really pretty. Okay, so I'm picking them off, but using my paper piercing tool for placing. That works. Isn't that nice? So we've got the silver tree and the silver, so that helps break that up a little bit. And so guess what we're going to do over here? Let's do a silver, because we've got the gold and the gold, right? Isn't that gorgeous? So simple to do, and whoops, so pretty. That bad boy went flying. We got it back. So pretty. Just love this touch. Okay, come on. There we go. The adhesive is good. And there we have it. As you saw, this card was so easy to make, but oh, so elegant. If you'd like to make my Thoughtful Branches greeting card that was so easy to make and oh so elegant, well, all the supplies are available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. And for your convenience, they're all listed right underneath the video as well. But remember, the Thoughtful Branches stamp set and the Beautiful Branches Thinlits dies, well, they're available to order only through August 31st, 2016. Now, if you order the two together in the Thoughtful Branches bundle, you'll save 10% on both. You really want both. So get on over now to my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com, so you can make my so easy and so elegant Thoughtful Branches card. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.